So, I have no idea if this works, but I have my little laptop sitting here to check up on the stream. Evening, everybody. I have to bring the chat window to the front here, otherwise I won't be able to see. I hope you can see and hear me properly. It should be a bit delayed for some reason. I'm really used to doing Twitch stuff, so there's not much delay on Twitch, but on YouTube there is. I can see now. Yeah, okay, there's a bit of delay. Okay, but that's alright. So yeah, this is actually the first time I do this, so I have no idea where this is going. Hopefully it's going to be a fun time. Just opened cola. You're working. Good evening. Giuseppe is there. Boca is there. M0TVT is there. And Tobias is there. And Dan is there. And Leon is there. Cool. Working sounds good. That's good to hear. So, yeah. Let's just start with just chatting away, I guess. I had a pretty tough day again at work. We had like a lot of stuff to do, and it's really warm today, so it's like 28 degrees Celsius. Hey Anthony, hello man, that is an awesome beard. Yeah, I'm experimenting with facial hair at the moment. I'm really just too lazy to shave properly at the moment, and I don't think it's not too bad. It gets a bit stubby at the moment. I don't know. I've never grown a beard really, so maybe I'll let it grow for some. It's a bit tough with the chat that is so delayed. That's a bit of a bummer. I was hoping that it was pretty real time, but it doesn't seem. Maybe there's some setting I overlooked. I did stream on YouTube before, ages ago, basically, when I did I think it was an Atari ST gaming stream test that I did. And then I never streamed again on YouTube. I did Twitch streams, which I do regularly now, or I plan on doing regularly, which are fun. So what do you do for a living? Oh, actually, what's my title is, I think I'm an assistant working in logistics for a smallish clothing company, actually. And that's not, I'm working at the warehouse, and basically I'm responsible for stuff that comes in, like new clothes that come in, and I'm responsible for storing it and making sure that everything fits the warehouse, and yeah. Evening everyone, YouTube is not as real time as Twitch. Yes, it isn't. I'm afraid. Should probably do this on Twitch next time, I guess. I was thinking that YouTube was pretty much the same, but it's easier to set the stream to like a hidden stream, so it's Patreon only. But we can try to do this somewhere else. Or we can have no, that won't work. I was just thinking we could have the chat in some other medium, but we can't because the video is delayed too. So yeah, that's a bit of a bummer. Yeah, so I'm working at a warehouse basically, and it's really at the moment we are like getting the winter collection, which is kind of weird because when you're working in the fashion industry, you always get the winter stuff in summer and the summer stuff in winter. So it's in stores for the season. Then it's 6:05 exactly. Okay, that's not too bad. So there's probably a couple of seconds delay. So maybe like 20 seconds or something. It's not too bad. So we can probably chat away without too much hassle. But it's not as direct as Twitch. Twitch is like you chat and it appears instantly. That's really fast. And I love that. Twitch is really fun, by the way. I would never have thought that Twitch would be so much fun for me, because I didn't watch many Twitch streams at all. And now I'm really into it and watching Twitch streams and joining the chats and stuff. And yeah, I enjoy streaming myself a lot. Any plans for +4 repair videos? Asks, what are you pronounced like? M0TVT? Mod VT? Yeah, +4 is definitely coming up. There's the next computery thing I'm doing is going to be either, depending on which I finish first. I'm working on a bunch of C16s actually, and yeah, the +4 needs some love too. Probably there's going to be some C16 +4 stuff. M0TVT. So I got it right the first time. Okay. I've been considering doing some C64 Amiga real hardware streams. Yeah, I mean the setup, it was a bit difficult to get it all working to an extent that I was satisfied with, but now I got it working. Bit too self-conscious to actually start. Yeah. Yeah, it's a problem. I had that problem too, but it is really rewarding to just start, and you feel a lot better after doing this, even though you are nervous and stuff. I'm pretty nervous because this is the first, like, I did interviews and stuff, and it's not the same because you are many people and I am only one, so that's a bit different. Amateur radio call sign. Ah, I see. Okay, that makes sense. So M0TVT is the amateur radio call sign. That's nice. I love that there's still amateur radio people around still loving that. My father used to do it. I never got into it because it was very out of fashion when I actually was the age that I could have been interested in it, I guess. I think I still could start, but I think you need a proper license in Germany to do it at all, so that's pretty difficult to do. Like, have to do testing and yeah, your equipment has to be certified and stuff. Karl König, sweating like a pig here. Still almost 30 degrees Celsius in our apartment. Yeah, same here. I have like a fan set up a bit further away so it won't interfere with the microphone and stuff. But I have like some mild wind coming from there, and the window, I actually had to close the window because the birds were really loud. But it does make sense to close the window because outside is hotter than inside at the moment. Anthony, I just have a ridiculous accent, that's my issue. I have a ridiculous accent, and I'm doing it too. That's no excuse, man. Dan asks, where did you learn electronics? Yeah, that's not that easy to answer because I never learned electronics properly. I learned a bit of electronics because I had a nice physics teacher at school. I learned before I was like the kid who took everything apart and looked at stuff, but I didn't understand it. And then I worked as an audio guy, as an audio engineer actually, and repaired like amplifiers and stuff. And I didn't have much. I could see the burnt components and replace them, but didn't have much of a clue about electronics really. And I just recently started with electronics. I started by repairing like vintage amplifiers and receivers and stuff, and usually I bought them as broken units, repaired them and sold them, or kept them myself, which the one in the back there is one of them, the last one. This is actually the first, this Sensui that's standing there is the first my first video, my first proper repair video, or videos. It's like 3 videos about this machine. And it started having some issues lately, so there's probably going to be more videos about this one. And yeah, I just learned electronic by doing, basically. I just jumped into it, and did it. And it worked. And I read up on stuff that I didn't understand. And I still learn a lot every day that I do this. And I always, whenever I encounter a problem, I try to read up on it. I watch YouTube videos. That was the main reason why I started YouTube, was because I learned so much from the YouTube videos that I wanted to give something back to people to look at and see. Tell us a bit about your handle name you use on YouTube, asks Leon. The handle, that's not much of a handle because my real first name is Jan. And my last name, my real last name, starts with a B. So it was just the idea of obfuscating my real name a bit. And the beta bit is actually because I'm like, as you probably see by my scheduling and my weird videos, that I oftentimes don't finish right away, but make like more parts of a video, and sometimes they remain unfinished forever. That's like the beta thing. I'm like, it's always in an unfinished state. That's the way I work, I guess. And that's a bit, yeah, that's like, I thought that was a fitting name. And I still like it. It was like a spontaneous idea, and I did it. Yeah, just a spontaneous idea, and I still like it. And I think it's like a good brand name as well, so people remember the name pretty well, I guess. There's a few as about. Yes, you have to pass an exam. Yeah. For the amateur radio, you have to pass an exam. Yeah. It's a crazy 15 degrees Celsius in the north of England. That's really crazy. I wish I was there. That's more of my temperature. I can't work in more than, if it's above 25 degrees, I'm getting really tired and can't really think straight and stuff. That's not good. So I'm like more of a cold weather person, I guess. Anthony, will I have to get dinner made? Though I would pop in to say hello. Thought I would pop in to say hello when I got the notification. Have a good stream. Thanks, Anthony. Have a nice dinner. Alex Davidson. Jan, you say on Patreon that your goal was to open a shop electronics repair full-time. Are you still aiming for this eventually? The repair recycle movement is alive and needs people like you. Yeah, that's like one of my goals on Patreon, is that I would, if I get enough money out of this, I would do this full-time. That's the main goal, I think, and do like repairs and stuff. The thing with repairs, I was really about to do it, and I did some research, and it's really difficult in Germany to do stuff like that, to produce electronic stuff. Like I would like to do like hardware for old systems and sell it, but you have to be have a proper what's called you have to be an electrician basically to be allowed to do it. And if you are just a hobbyist like I am, who hasn't got any proper education in electronics, you basically have to pay someone to certify your work, so it's you're allowed to sell it or repair stuff. Or it's really tough in Germany, and it's electronics is one of the last barriers where that is so restricted, because it's like a dangerous field of work, I guess. And that's why I think Germany is the last country in Europe who has like these strict regulations. I hope if the moment they are lifted, I would gladly do it. And at the moment I can't, because I'm not allowed to, basically. Which is pretty much a bummer. But I would really love to do this full time, or this like YouTube videos and streaming and stuff. And I have to thank you guys so much for giving me that much money. That I mean, like a year ago or so, I wasn't even dreaming of doing this full time, and now I'm thinking of maybe getting it to work. Yeah, Boca, regulations suck. That's really, yeah. Hi, Darren from Canada. Hello to Canada. Nice. That's like an international group of people. That's really cool. I like. That's why I do these streams and YouTube videos in English, because it's more international this way. Mm. So at some domestic electrics is pretty well regulated in the UK, but I've never heard of anything preventing repair electronic stuff. Yeah, that's the thing in Germany. I think there are some like there are some things you are allowed to do, but as soon as you start working on stuff that's mains powered, like if I was working on a C64 that has like the power brick, I wouldn't be allowed to do it. I think that's how I understand it. I never really asked around about this. I mean, there are repair shops who have probably don't have a proper electronics background, but it is really difficult. And if you're selling stuff, it has to be certified and stuff, and otherwise you're not allowed to sell it, which is, yeah, it's a bit, yeah, it's a bit difficult to do it, because, yeah, I would have to lay out a lot of money to get stuff certified, and I'm not sure how much it would bring in. I have some plans for hardware that I could. I'm maybe going to do it like open source it and have people make it themselves. Leon, you fixed many different retro computers. What is your favorite one to actually play on? C64, Amiga, Atari? Yeah, good question. I have I think my all-time favorite has to be the C64, because that's the one I grew up with, basically the first computer I owned myself. And I still love it, actually. And I love the games, and I love what people achieve on this very limited machine. That's very good. And I did like an Amiga stream a couple of days ago, or like 2 weeks ago, I guess. And I really enjoyed the Amiga games as well. So it's hard to tell. I love the systems I had myself, which is like a C64 and an Amiga. I love those the most, I guess. But everything else is I like the style the Spectrum games have, like the graphics style, and the Atari 800 XL is a really amazing machine. I like the sound very much, even though the SID is arguably a better sound chip, the 64 sound chip. I really enjoy the pokey sound that the Atari 800 XL had. Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of vector graphics, actually. I love, one of my absolute favorites is the original Asteroids arcade. So like this is all vector graphics, and like a really limited simple game, but vector graphics, so it's crispy, sharp, and it looks really amazing. I would love to get a Vectrex sometime. I love the Vectrex, but I've never actually played on one. Unfortunately, it wasn't that common here. I think it was more common in the UK, actually. Next Patreon goal: electrician's exams. Yes, Alex, that's probably a good idea. If somebody can give me electrician's exams. No, I don't own a Vectrex. I hope I get one sometime. I would love to have a Vectrex. Yeah. I got some consoles, actually. So there's some console videos, repair and refurb videos coming up. Got like a Mega Drive, and yeah, the Mega Drive's probably coming up next, because I already worked on it and I already shot a bit of video about it. But then, it's actually still here. And then I bought one of these cheap EverDrive clones for the Mega Drive, and this thing doesn't work. And the problem is, I would send it back to the manufacturer, but they have like strict rules, and it would be more expensive to send this back to China, where it came from, than to just buy another one. So that's what I did. I just bought another one, and I'm trying to fix this at some point. I don't know what's broken there. It has like a FPGA thing on there and stuff. It looks pretty decent actually, but it doesn't work. It just switches the Mega Drive off basically as soon as I insert it and turn it on. Tell me you didn't recap the Mega Drive. There's about 6 million of them in there. Yeah, I had a brief look at the capacitors and didn't recap it yet. I'm probably going to do it anyway. Yeah, Boca, you just repaired the Mega Drive too, I know. Mine wasn't half as broken as yours. I thought it was broken, but it actually worked. It only had the reset button was stuck. I hope you get yours fully working soon. You seem to fix a lot of C64 computers. Oh, there's another question from Boca. Are you getting the new C64? You mean the like the large C64 Mini? I don't think so. I mean, if somebody sends it to me for free, I won't say no. But otherwise, I don't think I'm that interested in that. I'm more of a fan of the real old hardware. It's pretty pointless. I mean, I got a C64 Mini when it came out, or when it got so cheap that I could afford one basically, like for 39 euros I think I paid. I got one and found it pretty interesting, but it's just not the thing I'm interested in. So it's just it's sitting in the living room actually because I played on it with a kid. But yeah, it's not I'm not a huge fan of that, and I'm not going to. I think it's pretty pointless when there's still so many original C64s around. And I see the point for people who don't have like the technical background to be able to connect it to modern TV or stuff. So that's much easier with the new C64 things. You seem to fix a lot of C64 computers. Do you keep them all, or do you fix them for friends, family? I did fix some for friends and family, but mostly, I have to say, most of them I still have, basically. I have like a bunch of different models. I think from where I'm sitting, I can see like 4 or 5 of them, I guess. It's a bit, I know. But it's a nice hobby, and some of them are not working. So I have like 3 boards that are not working, and yeah, I think I have like 3 working ones from where I sit. In my side, I have like a couple more. But as I always say, you can never have enough C64s. So yeah, it's my favorite computer by far. So I think I'm allowed to have a few. And I'm going to give away some at some point, of course. How many C64s do you currently own? I don't know for sure. I actually really, honestly, don't know how many I have, counting the ones that are only like in pieces. The ones I use on a regular basis are basically the Thundercats C64 that I recently got. My bread bin C64 that actually came from the trash, and that was one of the first ones I fixed that I still use, which I did a video on where I put the switching regulators in. That's the one I use on a day-to-day basis. My Aldi C64 is also pretty much used every day. Yeah, that's the ones. I think I have three C64s that I use the most, so they are just sitting here, not stored away. And I have a bunch of others that are half working and not really fully future proofed, so I'm not using them too much. I have like 4 Mega Drives. I've got to sell some of them, but I keep delaying. Yeah, Boca, that's basically the same with me. I just recently started to sell some of my stuff. Like I had like 3 1541 disk drives and sold one and I had like 2 ZX Spectrums, or 3 actually, and I sold one. And yeah, I'm going to sell and give away more stuff. I have like I think 4 Commodore 16s, and they are all broken. So I have to, hopefully, if I work on them, I get at least one working, because I promised it to somebody. uh, it's difficult to give away sell computers when you repair them. I always have intentions to move them on afterwards. Never happens. Yeah, I think it's because you actually develop kind of a relationship with the machines. So it's really difficult. If you worked on something, it's even worse. I think with the old receivers. That's really, I sold a bunch of them, but there are some that I can't really let go of. Like this one in the background there. That's a keeper, definitely. I was intending to sell it at one point, but I didn't do it. I actually we had like I had somebody who wanted to buy it, a colleague of mine, and we had a price, and he was about to give me the money, and I said, no, I can't sell it. Like literally, the moment he wanted to pay, I said, no, I'm going to keep it. So Leon asks, what are your thoughts of something like the Ultimate 64 FPGA PCB replacement for C64? I actually love the Ultimate 64. That's a really nice project. I think it makes sense to do something like that, because it's like a mix of original hardware and modern stuff, and Gideon does some really nice work. I love the 1541 Ultimate that I use all the time. I mean, I didn't get an Ultimate 64 yet, because it's too much of not original hardware for me, for my taste, but I totally get the idea, and I like it. I love it. So it preserves the system architecture and the system itself, which is amazing. And it's cool that you can actually buy a new C64 these days, which is, yeah, who would have thought? C16 is nice. Yes, they are nice. I mean, yeah, they are nice. There's a lot of downsides to it, but they are interesting computers. What's the retro market like in Germany? Are prices just as insane as they've got in England, or is it still cheap to pick old kit up? I actually buy quite some stuff from eBay UK because it's cheaper there, especially games and stuff. If you want to buy like games on tape, they are hilariously expensive in Germany because they aren't as popular. I think there were more discs in Germany and a lot of more piracy. So original games are pretty expensive in Germany, and the machines are about the same, I guess. I sometimes, I mean, it depends on the system. I think ZX Spectrum stuff is really expensive in Germany, whereas you can get it pretty cheaply from the UK because it was so much more popular there. Yeah. Yeah, I often buy from different countries. So I bought a C64 from Italy, actually, because it was the cheapest C64, and I pay from Europe a lot, and mostly from Germany, but because of the shipping costs and stuff. But sometimes it's cheaper to buy from somewhere else. Which part of Germany are you from? Asks E. Paschke. I'm from the north, Kiel, actually. I'm born a bit more south, near Lübeck, in a little village near Lübeck, and then I moved to Kiel for studying. Dan Goswick. I've heard that the CPUs in those C16 plus 4s fail a lot. Yeah, they fail a lot. The CPUs fail, and the combined graphics and sound chip, the TAT, fails a lot. These are the two chips that fail in these. And the usual stuff, the RAM ICs are the same as in the C64, basically, so they fail too. But otherwise, yeah, the chips are not very well made, actually. They even failed when they were new. And there are 2 versions of the chips, I think. There's a newer version that doesn't fail as regularly, but it's still not very good, and it fails. Uh, I've got 2 working plus 4s, a couple of non-workers, 3 working C64s. DK and Flyer, hello, yeah, hello, Jan. Hey. Nice to have you here. Boca's retro stuff. When did you start to rebuy the old computer C64 Amigas? I've started late 2014 when I started to get my hands back to the original hardware from my childhood, so I rebought a Sega Saturn. Nice. Saturn is nice. I bought the first C64 again when I already had my YouTube channel, so like 3 years ago, maybe. And it's still the repair of my first C64 that I bought again after having one back in the day in the 80s is on YouTube still. It's one of my so it had like a sound issue, and repairing that was really when I started making retro computer YouTube videos, because it was like instantaneously, it was such a good such a pleasure, because I had like a Twitter at the time. And I shot the video and repaired it and didn't get very far because I had no clue about it really. And then I asked around on Twitter and got so many very helpful people, and instantaneously was blown away by how much people helped me. And I managed to fix it actually with the community, together with the community. And that was like the experience that really started it for me. Because I thought it was so rewarding to get the machine working, and it was so rewarding to work with the community. And I thought, yeah, that's where I want to be. That feels right. So, and I love the old computers. So, yeah. I think the first game I actually booted up was Bubble Bobble, and I heard the music, and I was instantly back in the 80s. I have a spare Atari 1050 non-working disk drive. Would you be interested in having it? Yeah, I would, definitely. I have, they are really rare. I was looking for one, but I didn't. I found one, but it was way too expensive for me, so I didn't buy it. They are pretty rarely sold here in Germany. So if you could write me an email or something, and we could work something out. That would be great to have a 1050 drive. That would be amazing. Or like a Patreon message. Hey, we are Patreon only today. Hey, Andy Davis. Alex, yeah, Germany was great at piracy on discs. I had a box of them from a friend in the 90s, and it pretty much filled my game collection at the time. Everything seemed to be cracked by Dynamic Duo. Yeah, they were really huge. Dynamic Duo was like, I remember their crack trolls. They did like a lot of stuff. And I remember when piracy on the C64 really started for me was when a neighbor and a good friend of mine bought a flea market C64, and it came with like, I think 3 big boxes of discs, which were all like pirated stuff. And yeah, thanks. I have a working one too. You can have it, my friend. That's great. Cool. So I have an Atari disk drive. That's great. Never thought I would have one. That's so cool. Thank you. So I have some questions from earlier, from people who probably wouldn't make it, I guess. Let's see if I can find them. So Dean asked, what triggered you to start your YouTube channel? That is quite an interesting story, because I did it because I'm a really, really shy person, actually. And I intentionally did it in English because that was even worse for me. So I wanted to overcome my shyness, or my like social awkwardness, which was really bothering me. And it got a lot better, actually, because I do this, which was kind of the intention. But then people liked my stuff so much that it was like a therapy thing for myself, really. And I wanted to, what I said before, I wanted to share some of my takes on repairing like old amplifiers and stuff, which I had done previously to the YouTube stuff. That was the intention. So I wanted to give back something to the platform, the community I learned so much from. So I learned most of my skills from YouTube actually, and now I read a lot too, and check out forums, and there's a lot of resources for learning about old computers basically. Especially the C64 stuff is so well documented. So Karl König he was actually around. I don't know if you're still there, but you put a question in the comments, so to answer, just in case no better ones arise during the stream, have you ever regretted going to Patreon? Is it as much work as you anticipated, or less, or more? Yeah, no, I haven't regretted getting on Patreon because it pays the rent for this lab here basically, and a lot of the stuff I show on the channel wouldn't be possible without you guys. So I never regretted it. I wish I had more time to do extra stuff, and sometimes I have like a really bad conscience if I don't do special stuff for patrons for a while. Because I think that's really important. It would be nice to have these chats from time to time. I really enjoy it so far. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Q&A thing, because I think that's pretty weird. But yeah, I would like to chat with you sometimes. So that would be nice. Bokas Retro Stuff says the Twitter community is great. If it wasn't for Miss Mad Lemon to use modding wired, her tip to use modding wired to try to reconnect the traces from the butchered Mega Drive, I'd never have gotten that thing working again. Yeah, she's really good. I love her channel, and she's really helpful with people. Where did you learn English? It really is incredible that you decided to do your videos in a second language. I learned it at school, and then I briefly, or not so briefly, I studied English, but I didn't take any exams. I studied English for several years actually. English literature. So I'm better with Shakespeare and stuff than with actually speaking. I'm getting better now that I do these videos a lot. I think I've gotten a lot more fluent if you compare my first videos with the stuff I do now. I still have some weird things happening language-wise, but I think it's gotten better a bit. DKN Flyer, my first 8-bit computer was an Atari 800 XL with a tape drive. I always looked at the disk drive owners with envy as they were so expensive. Yeah, the same with the C64. The disk drives were as expensive as the computer itself, or I think even more expensive at some point. About 3 years ago I got into retro computers and bought an Atari 800 XL with two 1050 drives. After 30 years I finally got one. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice to have like the disk drive, which is pretty fast compared to the C64 disk drive. I think I never had one myself. I had a C64 disk drive, but not the Atari disk drive. Also have a C64C. Yeah, that's nice. You're pretty much 100% fluent. Thanks. Yeah, I'm doing my best. I try my best. Yeah, but of course the intention of doing this in English was not only because of the of my overcoming my shyness. It was like also to reach like an international audience, because I mean, that's basically, for me, that's what the internet is for, like exchanging information and doing that worldwide in no time, basically. That's the internet for me. And this platform is amazing for that stuff. Like, you put out a video and instantaneously everybody, or nearly everybody all over the world can watch it if they want to. Mm. Anyway, time to put the kids in bed. Thanks for the stream and all the content. Thank you for being here, Alex, and thanks for your support. DK and Flyer will send you some pics of my setup and the one I will be sending you. Yeah, nice, do that. Very interested in that. Leon, what do you think about all the attention your channel has been getting recently from other YouTubers? All the cross videos you did as well. That's pretty nice, and it pretty much came... if you reach like a certain amount of subscribers and are active in the community, there's always some people wanting to collaborate, which is really nice. I really enjoy that. And I'm planning on doing that even more in the future, because there's, I like that. And now I'm like, with that many subscribers, I'm like in a position where I can really promote smaller channels, which is really great, because there's a lot of smaller channels which I watch regularly and nobody knows, basically, or very few people know. And I'm planning some stuff in that direction. I did an interview with a German channel that is very underrated, Pretty Old Pixel. So if you can understand German, check that out, Pretty Old Pixel. Hi Jamie, just logged in from Canada. Hi. Welcome to the stream. If you have any questions, feel free to fire them. And I will do my best to answer. Yeah, the attention my channel gets. That's really nice. I really liked the Mac the Mac collaboration, sorry. The Macintosh thing was like, I did that like half a year ago or something. That was a really long-term project. So I like the channel, the Vintage Apple Vault. That's not even the channel, is it? Computer Clan is the channel I did the collaboration with, and I really enjoyed the channel. And it was like, I watched some of the videos, and they were doing a collaboration, or they were doing collaborations with all kinds of people I watch regularly on YouTube. So that was pretty flattering to be asked to do a collaboration. Retrobrite versus Sunbright. I haven't tried Sunbright, and yeah, Retrobrite worked pretty well for me a couple of times. So I can't really answer that. I'm basically you are probably damaging your plastics equally as much both ways, I guess. Because it can't be, I mean, I don't know. It's really, I don't think there's a satisfactory scientific answer to that problem yet. I did some quite nice Retrobrite, and it worked pretty well, and it stays a lot less yellow for a long time, so that worked pretty well for me. And I can't see the plastic really getting much more brittle or something. The plastic basically is brittle because it's old, and it ages no matter what you do, I guess. So it gets brittle with time and heat and UV and stuff, and yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to say thank you for all the content you produce. I love the retro hi-fi stuff you repair. Yeah, I love working on that stuff too. That's what I did first before I started with computers. So I'm really, and there's more of that coming up. I actually have shot parts of the that black Marantz. That is actually my main amplifier. I did some more work on that and made a video, but it's not finished yet. I have to do even more work, and that stuff is really time consuming. So the sensor video, the video I uploaded today, was it today? Yeah, today I think, that took like 3 or 4 days of work to work on the unit, and then it took like another day to edit. So that's really time consuming compared to some other stuff I do. Jamie asked, do you have an eBay store? No, I don't. I have like a private eBay thing. I don't intend to have an eBay store, I guess. Felt braver to tackle these sorts of things. Thank you for the inspiration. Oh, that's one of the intentions of this channel, actually. That's nice to hear. Mm. And most of the time it's not rocket science to do these repairs. As I said earlier, the first stuff I repaired, I had no clue about electronics. I could solder a bit, and I just looked for burnt components, basically, or like blown capacitors. You can oftentimes see the broken component right away if you look closely and smell closely, and then you replace it with. As you have to know what the component is roughly, and roughly know what you can put in there to replace it. And I had some explosions when I first started with repairing stuff, especially with audio stuff, which is pretty much pretty high voltage all the time. So you get decent explosions if you put like a capacitor in backwards and stuff. That really hurts, and you never forget that. Do you always keep the stuff you repair? No, not at all. I often keep it longer than I plan, because you kind of connect to the devices you repair in a weird way. But most of the time I just sell it or give it away. Or some of the repairs I did lately were for friends of mine, so that's not my units. And M0TVT learned a lot from your videos, especially the 64 ones. Thank you, that's great. And I think I learned a lot during making the videos as well. And I still learn new stuff every day about the C64 as well. I'm not a guru, I'm just learning all the time, and I think that's yeah, that's actually the mic I rebuilt. That's the Rode mic that I did the little video on. And it's really good. It's a really decent mic. Thanks, Donald. Mike, hey, welcome. Hi, Jan. First, many thanks for your excellent channel. My pleasure. Thank you for your support. Always great to see a fresh upload and eagerly await them. Ever done any work on a BBC Micro? No, not yet. I would love to. I actually have an Acorn Electron that I am going to do some work on sometime. I have so many things that I want to work on that I barely know where to start. Jamie, boom goes the capacitor, yeah. That it did indeed a couple of times when I started repairing stuff. And transistors can explode pretty hefty as well. One exploded, and I was wearing glasses, luckily, but it exploded right in my face at one time. Yeah. That was a unit I sold as broken on eBay again. Like a 90s amplifier. That wasn't very good. But I wanted to test my skills, and I failed to repair it and spent a lot of work and a lot of cash on the new transistors that I thought were the fault, but they weren't, because the new ones instantly blew again and spat plastic all over the place, which wasn't cool. But yeah, you learn from that. I'd love a Beat Micro. My Electron arrived today. Nice, you have an Electron too. I like the design of the Electron. It's really like it feels good. It's a computer that looks great, and the keyboard feels great, and really it's not like the cheapo plasticky stuff that you often get with micros. BBC Micro would be great, but I have so many projects that sometime. There are so many nice computers that I would love to work on. But next up is going to be C16, I guess. Mike, I have been thinking of trying an Acorn Electron for a while, so we'll love to see how you get on first. Yeah, that's coming up, but I have no idea when I'm going to get to it. I don't have... First up is going to be C16 stuff. I started making video about a Sega Mega Drive that I'm refurbishing. I started working on the Amiga 1000 I recently got donated, which is amazing because that's a lovely machine. I'm sorry. Yeah. And of course, there's always going to be some C64 stuff. I still have to do the Pi 1541. I need to do an update video on that because I'm planning on adding the screen to that one and stuff like that. Jamie, I'm working on a Bendix G15. What's a Bendix G15? Never heard of that. Mike has a working BBC but needs case tidying up. Retrowriting technique has been atrocious to date. Yeah, okay. Yeah, retrowriting is a bit hit and miss, and it depends largely on the plastics you retrowrite, and you can never tell how good it gets. Maybe try sunbrighting, maybe that works. I don't know, I haven't tried it yet. How about Amstrad? Ever played with one of those? I have one, an Amstrad CPC. And I am going to do some work on that sometime too. But didn't get to it. I have a bunch of computers that I didn't get to yet. Hi Diego, welcome. Boca Acorn Electron is a great computer. I've watched the Retro Man Cave. The Retro Caveman. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Neil did a nice job on the Acorn Electron refurb that he did. Really enjoyed that. Yeah. And I think yeah, I watched quite some videos about the Acorn Electron because I think it's a lovely computer. And the plan is, I have all these systems and I plan on refurbing them on the YouTube channel and then playing with them on my Twitch channel. Which was kind of the intention of the Twitch thing. By the way, I'm probably going to do a Twitch stream tomorrow evening, same time as this stream, but on Twitch. Jamie, huge 500 kilo vacuum tube beast. Wow, vacuum tube thing. Okay, Bendix G15. Sounds awesome. I haven't worked on vacuum tube stuff yet, at all. I think I fixed like a guitar amplifier and stuff, but not no hi-fi stuff and no computer stuff with vacuum tubes, which actually exists, but that's yeah. Donald Little, just watched the amplifier repair you posted up. I was wondering, when you opened the packs of capacitors, do you order individual pieces specifically for the rebuild, or do you just order large packs? It depends. There are some values that you need very often, like the standard 100 microfarad, 10 microfarad, 220 microfarad, 47 microfarad. There are like standard capacitors that I always have in stock, but the Sensui needed some bipolar caps, like non-polarized caps, and those I didn't have. I have some non-polarized. I was basically when I need some for a specific project, I mostly order a couple more, so I have spares for future episodes, repair jobs. So there's my stash of components back there. There's a lot of stuff in there. That I just bought for having it in stock. And I have the C64 capacitors. I mostly have all of those a couple of times, and so I can refurb those. Like you said, the keyboard on the Electron is lovely. That was my first thought too when I unboxed it. Yeah, I just played with it a little, and it feels so much. The plastic feels so much better than on most other computers I felt. Diego, I'd love to see an episode about video circuitry of a C128. I've got one and I can't make it to output color. Oh, that's okay. That's a bummer. I can't make it to output color. That's interesting. Maybe there's I don't remember, but there's this little trimmer capacitor in the close to the VIC-2. I don't think if that's in the Commodore 128 too, but in the C64s, it's often if you get a black and white picture out of it, you can just adjust the little trimmer to get a color picture. Maybe that's the case with the 128 too. Leon, is there a computer that you'd love to work on but didn't get a chance? X68000 MSX. I actually have an MSX, but it works, so I don't need to do any work on that. Unfortunately, maybe I do like a future-proofing thing on the MSX. And the X68000, I didn't see one in person in my life yet, unfortunately. Yeah, maybe sometime. But I have a lot of projects coming up. I have like a nice vintage PC that I want to refurbish too. It came complete with a CRT monitor with matching CRT and the matching keyboard and mouse and stuff. That's really nice, like a Pentium 75 megahertz, I think. Boca. Caro, seriously, don't put everything on one card, especially not YouTube. You mean, yeah, like monetary and exposure wise. Yeah, that's one reason why I do the Twitch stuff too. And I have like my website where I can janbeta.net. You can check out my website, by the way, if you haven't done so. I plan on doing some stuff there in the future, like blogging a bit and putting like repair guides there too. Hopefully, if I find the time. That's really time-consuming stuff. Mike Fellows, inspired by a Commodore recreation over Christmas. Loved that. I've started collecting all the micros I've owned over the years from age 13 to now. A slightly worn-out 52-year-old. Yeah, I think that's really rewarding. I was really enjoying that. Putting my setup back together. That was really nice. Yeah, I think a lot of people commented on that and said, "Wow, that's a good idea. Let's do that too." And I'm kind of like doing the same with my Amiga 2000 setup at the moment. That's another thing I'm still working on, and I shot some footage, but still waiting on parts, and still I have to order some stuff. Diego, isn't it related to the crystal oscillator? Yeah, that might also be. That might be the case with the 128 showing only a black and white picture. That might be related to the timing. So there's a timing circuitry with the crystal oscillator and with yeah, that's what the trimmer capacitor basically you can adjust the timings. That's what that's for. And these break as well. Maybe we have a broken trimmer capacitor. If that's in there, I don't remember if it's in the C128, but it's in some older C64s. Could be I've tried everything from replacing the VIC to recapping the board, tuning the capacitor, replaced the RF modulator with a composite hack. Simply won't output color. That's interesting. The Amiga 2000 looks incredible, jealous of that. Yeah, I have to do quite some work on the Amiga 2000 because the case is in far worse condition than I initially thought. It's like bent, the bottom is like bent like this. Not that extreme, but it has like it makes a bump, and I didn't see that initially. And the whole circuit board basically makes a little bump there. That's not cool. So I have to work on that. The Amiga 2000. There's quite some work to be done on that. Jamie, I have been addicted to tubes since I was 8. Yeah, tubes are amazing. I love tubes. I like the closest I ever got to tubes is like old tube radios and guitar amplifiers and tube preamps actually for like recording microphones. You have like that's really a trend still in the audio engineering business. You have like a preamp where there's a tube in it to make the sound a bit smoother and to add some overtones and stuff, which works pretty well, depending on how good your preamp is. Philippe, thanks for all the videos. I have no experience doing repairs, though I do like computers and stuff. I watch your stuff because it's relaxing and contemplative. Thanks, that's a nice thing to say. And maybe you get into repairing stuff at some point too, like many people do. Jamie, C64 and Lego is fun. Yeah, you mean Periphractics Brixty4? That was a kind of a nice idea. But yeah, not really my thing. But I think it was a nice idea to do it. Did he actually manage to get that? I remember that he did like with Lego sets you can do like what's it called? You do like a poll and people can vote for the Brixty4 on the Lego side, and if you get enough votes, they make it an actual Lego set that you can buy. Did that actually go through? I think I signed that at some point because I thought the idea was neat, but Boca, maybe any capacitor related to the crystal or the video. On my Mega Drive that was the case. There was a ceramic capacitor missing and that was causing no color composite output. Yeah, the timings in the video circuitry are probably pretty crucial. I think there are a couple of logic chips that are also responsible for the timing. Maybe something in that respect is broken. Maybe some of the I don't know. I can't really remember what the video circuitry in the C128 looks like, but there are probably a couple of logic ICs there that are responsible for the video timing. And that has to be spot on, otherwise the monitor won't recognize the signal correctly. Keep going, Diego. I'm sure you will repair it. Yeah, not much more to say about that. Hope you can get it fixed. I'll have to look into the video circuitry and maybe I can help you. I control my Lego with the C64. He is at 2600 votes. 2600, that's like the Atari. That's pretty nice. So the Brixty4, check out the Brixty4 and vote for the Brixty4 so they make it an actual Lego set. I would appreciate that. Do you have any technology holy grails you haven't managed to get? Felipe asked that. Yeah, one of my holy grails ever since I saw it a couple of years ago in real life is the Asteroids arcade. The original old Asteroids arcade. I really love that thing. It's a beautiful arcade machine. And it has like vector graphics. I love that. That's something that I probably couldn't fit in here, but I would make room for that. That's like a holy grail. There are a couple of things that I would love to have, of course. Obviously, there's some really rare. Some of them, like an Amiga 1000, I got that now. I always wanted one because it's the original Amiga, and now I have one. And there's a lot of work to do on that one, but yeah. There's going to be quite some videos about that. Love the way you vlogger guys know each other. Follow Retroman, Kev, and Periphractic too. Really great channels, but I have to say yours is the most consistently good channel, in my humble opinion. Man, that's a nice thing to say, especially because the other guys are not bad, to put it mildly. I enjoy the other channels pretty much. Yeah, thanks. That's a nice thing to say. So... Oh, we're already talking for an hour. That went quickly. Nice. So I hope you enjoy this stuff. I enjoy it pretty much. That's a pretty nice thing to do, to talk to you guys. So do we have any more questions from somewhere coming in? I'm currently living in Estonia, so I see a lot of old Soviet high-tech stuff. It's a whole different world. Yeah. the GDR, the eastern part of Germany, when it was still divided, had a lot of Russian electronics, and it pops up regularly on like flea markets and stuff. And that's really, the components look completely different. The way stuff is designed looks completely different. There's stuff that you would never believe how new it is. That looks like it looks like electronics from the 70s, and it is really made in the 90s or stuff like that. It's a different world. It's really, I repaired an amplifier for a friend a couple of years ago. That was like I think it was a GDR branded one, but it was made in Russia, or in the Soviet Union it was made. And it was like amazing. I mean, the capacitors looked like completely different, and the whole circuitry was a bit strange. But it was nice to work on and see that. And it was built really solidly, so that was really nice. And it sounded quite good. So I think he's probably still using it in his workshop. Jamie, come to Canada and I have 2 asteroid vector type. Yeah, man, that would be great, but it would probably, shipping it from Canada would be so expensive that I'd rather find one here someday. I mean, they are on sale, but they're usually like €1,000 in unknown condition. So I'm really hesitant about that, because like it's like a dream thing, long-term dream project to have one of those. Donald, kind of cool to see your lab space from the opposite direction as normal. Yeah. Yeah, and also I don't appear much on camera. That's probably a bit strange. Yeah, that's what the lab. It's not huge. So I'm sitting at the desk, the bench, and I can like reach the wall. It's not a huge lab. It goes a bit on over there. But actually I could show you the lab. I have like another webcam set up. Let's try this. I'm going to show you the lab. So here's the other webcam. There's my fan. There's the lab. There's a lot of stuff piling up here. Yeah, this doesn't go very far. That's my lighting. So there's the television that I repaired. I think that's also a Patreon only video. And there's my retro corner where my computers are actually set up. At the moment there's a lot of cables going on. And yeah, that's the audio stuff. I have like speakers here. A lot of projects. There's the C64 actually. Not much going on there. And there's the window right here. And you can see that the weather is pretty decent. There's some clouds actually. So yeah, that's the lab. Can't really see much on this camera, but here's what the desk looks like at the moment. Pretty messed up. There's always a lot of cables. Yeah, switching back to this, I guess. Probably couldn't fit an entire full-size arcade cabinet in there. No, it's pretty cramped at the moment, and I wouldn't be able to fit one in here anyway. Oh, sorry, just hit the mic. I would probably put it up in the living room. It's a bit larger than this room. Have you come across any Commodore PCs? I had one back in the day, made in Germany. Yes, Andy. I actually have a PC. I think it's a PC2. Oh boy, I can't remember if it's a PC2 or a PC1. An XT PC1, I guess. Commodore PC1. No, PC10 is what it's called. It's a PC10. Yeah. PC10 2 or 1. I have one of those that I need to work on. That got donated to me a while back. Yeah, that's coming up. But as usual, somebody else made videos about the machines. The 8-bit guy just did a Commodore PC video. So I'm not going to do it just now. Probably I could and would hijack a lot of his traffic, but that would probably be a good idea. But I have other projects that are more important at the moment to do. But that's coming up sometime. I have a Commodore PC. I have to ask, why do you have a bit of black tape on your monitor covering the start of Philips? It's just a joke. It's just a joke. I used to cover up like brand names because I don't want to do free advertising for brands. There was like a thing I did. I learned that from some like punk bands and stuff who did that on their amplifiers, like covered the Marshall logo, or some only let Marsha be seen and covered the rest up, or something else. So I got that from there basically, and I wanted to cover up Philips completely, and then I thought, wow, it would be quite funny if I just leave lips. So that got quite some laughs actually. Some people don't get it really, but it's just my weird sense of humor, I guess. A Bendix G15 is the size of a large fridge. Yeah, so I couldn't fit it in here. So I actually considered doing more laptop videos, vintage laptop videos, because I don't have much room for more systems. I would love to have a larger space for doing this and to set up more systems permanently. That would be great. But I only have this place, and this is like a dream come true already. I would never have dreamed of having like an extra workspace for this stuff here, which is thanks to you largely. So thank you for making this possible. That's cool. So that's like I think roughly half of my Patreon income is like the extra rent for the extra room. So that's yeah. I was able to afford a larger flat because of you guys. That's nice. Thank you for that. Mike, man, that's why I've not been able to source a Lips monitor. Yeah, some people keep asking about the Lips monitor. It's not a very good Philips monitor, by the way. It's okay, but it's a pretty old one. I don't spend much money on modern PC stuff these days. Most of my money goes into really old computers or spare parts for old computers. I eventually have to update my main PC a bit for faster rendering and stuff. But it's pretty okay. It's like an old 4th generation, I believe, i5. And I upgraded the memory to 16 gigabytes lately, and I have like an NVIDIA 960 card, I believe. It's not the best PC in the world, but it's sufficient for rendering full HD video. Diego, space is always a concern when working with retro stuff. I never have enough. Yeah, you never have enough space. And recently, the lab basically looks like a dumpster because I just recently noticed that my the basement that I also had stuff in is a bit moist. So if you keep stuff in there for a longer period of time, it's going to start rusting and stuff and corroding, and that's not cool. So I'm working on putting like little silica, is it what it's called, like silica bags to keep the moisture out, and like putting everything on shelves. Just yesterday I got 2 new shelves for the basement to hopefully combat the moisture problem. So basically now everything that's important and rare items and stuff is stored in the lab, which doesn't make things better space-wise. The US guys are very lucky than usual to have space to spare. Yeah, I wish I would have. I wish I had a house or something. This is just like a 2.5 room flat, and this is like the half a room, the lab. And I'm lucky to have that. That's cool. I'm really glad that I can afford that. You mention your father quite frequently in your videos. You would say he sparked your interest in technology and PCs. Yeah, definitely so. He was like he had like an interest for computers and electronics. He was actually amateur radio hobbyist and electronics tinkerer, and he had pretty early on he had like home computers. He had like a TI 994A, and then he had a C64, and then he had an Amiga, and basically he always passed the computers on to me. The C64 I got was he still had his C64, but I got a C64 when he bought his first Amiga, and later his Amiga was passed on to me, and so forth. And the same happened later with PCs basically. I got his old stuff and had like decent from my point of view. I had like decent computers all my youth. And then actually very much later I started him on Apple stuff, because I used Apple stuff for working in audio, and there was a time when Apple stuff was really superior, especially when you worked in professional audio, because the Windows stuff at that time just crashed all the time, and Mac OS was really solid, and the hardware was really solid. It was way more expensive even then, but it was just better. And I started his Apple stuff, and now he's using a MacBook, pretty decent new MacBook and stuff like that. Yeah. So he started my interest in computers, and I started his interest in Apple machines to use them. I was wondering, did you do some programming in the old days? Is there any old program game that you did that you'd like to show in an episode? Yes, I'm thinking about showing some of my Amiga stuff. I have a very, very little of my C64 stuff survived. I did a lot of basic programs on the C64 as a kid, and I would love to show that, but I don't have it anymore. Most of it is gone. I have like 2 little programs or 3 that I made on one disk. One disk survived from my personal disk. The rest I have are disks from my father and my sister. And I have like nearly all the stuff I did on the Amiga. I did like little games, and I did like a vocabulary program that I taught myself English with, and Latin at school. Yeah. And there's even some stuff I want to make available for download, because it's pretty useful, or you could use it. And I made some little attempts at games, but that's not very good. But I think I'm going to do a stream at some point where I show off my Amiga stuff live, basically. I really plan on doing that. Maybe that's probably going to be a Twitch stream at some point. Yeah, but I'm not good. I always did like basic programming. I did very, very little assembler stuff on the Amiga. I believe I made like little commands, like to. I remember doing like a thing that waits for a mouse click, because I didn't have one, and I coded that in assembler because it was really easy. But I didn't do much apart from that. I did Blitz Basic. Blitz Basic was my weapon of choice on the Amiga. I did a lot of Blitz Basic programming, which is amazing, because you could do pretty awesome stuff with that. Donald, yeah, I'm decidedly middle class and suspect the unfinished space in my basement might be bigger than Jan's apartment. Yeah, that might very well be. But I mean, there's Germany is like cramped. The population density here is pretty much, yeah, it's pretty full. So America's way bigger, so there's more room for having proper size houses. I wish I could afford to get a house and live in the countryside, but I can't. So I'm stuck with a little lab for a while, at least, until I don't know, I become a millionaire. Boca, have you ever done repair on your MacBook? I guess I have the same model as yours, and I had to do a heavy maintenance early this year as it was getting too hot and exploded 2 power supplies. Oh, no, apart from regularly cleaning it, I didn't do much maintenance work on it at all. I did put in like an SSD, and I replaced the DVD drive with a second hard disk to have more space. And I upgraded the RAM and stuff, but I didn't do. I cleaned the fans, and I cleaned cleaned out the dust. That's basically all I did. Yeah, 2009 MacBook, still going strong. That was quite decent. The newer stuff that Apple makes is not that good, I guess. Mike, always loved the music you have on your videos. Your Jan Beta Warteschleife 1 is in a loop in my head. Yeah, that was like an unfinished thing again. I intended to finish that sometime, but it just ended up being like a little loop. It's just like 2 bars of music that loop with a little fancy delay effect on it, so it doesn't sound the same all the time. It's a bit psychedelic. But I want to do more music in the future if I can find the time. I really enjoy making music. Yeah. Not only electronic music, I want to play the guitar again and stuff like that, but I rarely find the time to do so. Maybe you've answered this already, but why did you start the channel? Yes, I've answered that already, but I can briefly tell it again. The story. I just started the channel. Initially, I started it because I wanted to overcome my shyness, because I'm really socially awkward most of the time, and I can't really speak in public still, and that's I did that as a way to overcome that, and it worked pretty well. I'm better now than I was when I started, and I did it in English because that was even another step up. That was more difficult to do, and also I had more of an international audience, which was a nice thing to have. And another idea that I already talked about was to I learned a lot of my skills from YouTube videos, and I wanted to bring some of the stuff I came up with back and give it back to the repair community on YouTube. It wasn't necessarily computers in the beginning. The first videos were like random repairs. I changed the battery in a cell phone and stuff like that, and replaced the screen on my iPhone. That is actually the iPhone that I still use for filming most of the stuff. An old iPhone 5S, I think it is. That's half broken. I still use that for filming most stuff. And yeah, that's how it started. I started with the intention was to do like a general repair channel, and I ended up mostly being an old computer repair channel, but that's fine with me. I really enjoy that. Boca, mine was too dirty on the mainboard and replaced the thermal paste. Yeah, I will have to do thermal paste replacement, so that's quite the operation because you have to take the mainboard out and stuff. Probably have to do that sometime. Donald asks, have you ever messed with or saw when they were new a TRS-80 color computer? That's what we had, and I was always jealous of my cousin's C64. No, never seen a TRS-80. I've seen one, but I haven't tinkered with one yet. I mean, they are a bit clunky and stuff. And compared to the C64, the C64 is like a really good games machine, which most of the other machines weren't. I mean, there were good games probably, but the C64, the chipset was intended to be for a games machine initially, so that was really superior to most of the other stuff back in the day, I guess. The iPhone 5S, what is your current phone? I'm holding on dearly to my iPhone SE. Yeah, I have an iPhone SE too. I love the size. I have like a white silver iPhone SE. That's my phone, and that's enough for me because I don't do much gaming on my phone and stuff like that. So I don't need a really recent phone. Uh, yeah, mostly using it uh, for Twitter and YouTube communication stuff, and email and short messages of various kinds. So that's enough for me. Donald at the time felt like Porsche versus Hugo. Yeah. That's probably what a lot of people felt. That's actually, I felt like that when I had a C64 and saw what the Amiga could do for the first time. It was like a revelation, because it was like, yeah, that was like a Porsche. Or Porsche, actually, is what it's pronounced like. I'm German, so I can pronounce Porsche like it's meant to be pronounced in German. I guess. Yeah. So, do we have any more questions or any more? By the way, if you just tuned in, so to say, I'm going to do a gaming stream of some sort. I haven't decided on which system yet. Tomorrow, I guess. I think tomorrow, 7 o'clock. The same time this started, I'm going to do like a Twitch stream tomorrow from some real system that I haven't decided on yet. But it's probably not going to be the C64, because I did quite a lot of streams. I don't know yet. Maybe the C128. No, probably the Amiga or something like that. So, Diego, I had a C64 back in the days, but all my friends had a CPC. I felt like I had the power, but they had the games. Yeah, the CPC, I think I love how colorful it looks. The colors look so much more vibrant than on the C64. Oh, Dean's there. Have you ever worked on Luxman audio equipment? No, I don't think so. I remember like bidding on some Luxman amplifiers and receivers, but they were, even if when they were broken, they were too expensive. So I intended to get my hands on some, but never did. And most of the stuff I have, like the Sensui, that was really lucky bad. That's really worth something, because it's pretty rare. It's a Sensui X1000, I believe. 1000X, and they are pretty rare. It's like early 70s, really good receiver that I got for 60 euros or something. It was completely broken. One channel was completely dead, but it was so worth it. That's probably worth a couple of €100 now. Andy got a jump. This was fun. Thanks, Andy, for attending and asking questions and stuff. See you soon. So I think if you don't have any questions, I think I'm just calling this a wrap, I guess. I've had quite some fun. It was a nice thing. Maybe we can do this regularly in the future, which would be nice. It's been really nice talking to you guys. Or talking in one direction, I mean chatting. I don't know what to call this. Modern Talking. That's a band. Really bad band. So, yeah. Any more questions? And now I have to wait for like 30 seconds until the video catches up with actually. Yeah. Let me wait for 30 seconds. And if there are no more questions, I'm going to call this an early evening. Many, many thanks. Pleasure as always. yeah, you guys have a really good evening. What time is it there right now? No, it's not dark yet. I can actually show you the view out my window again. There we are. It's still not full sunlight, but it's getting dark a bit. It starts getting dark. That's my little webcam, by the way. So, first time I ever watched a live stream. Thanks very much. Danny or Kylie? That's a good question. I'm going to go with Kylie, I guess. For no particular reason. Yeah, thank you for attending. Hope to see you again. Tomorrow, same thing, but with gaming on Twitch. Which is probably linked somewhere on my YouTube thing as well. Not under this, but yeah, you're going to find it. Thanks. I really enjoyed this. Let's do this again sometime. See you all soon. I have to find the button that I have to click. So let's call this a day. Thank you for watching, and I'm just clicking on end stream now. Bye guys. See you soon.